gosh, are we actually live? Did it actually happen? Tagging me. All right, friends. So we're doing Wednesdays with Whitney on the lovely Karla Walsh's phone today. From Karla Walsh's account, because my Facebook account, or I don't know what's going on with my phone. The phone's it's being mean. It's being real mean.
But we see somebody watching,
oh
so
my
we're
gosh,
taking that
it's
as a good sign.
happening.
Oh my god, take 3. Yay.
So yeah, this is our third try. So let's try to remember what we said.
Yes. We'll share this on Whitney's page so that all of Whitney's fans can see it too.
Absolutely. So, hi everybody, I'm Whitney, and this is Karla, and you're following Karla, so you obviously know her, but if you don't know me, I'm here today. So we're here today to talk about Karla Walsh's most recent boudoir-inspired shoot, and how we kind of got to that place, and just like the process it took to get to the point where Karla felt comfortable doing that, and where I was offering that. But first, I want to talk about how we met, because I literally did not remember how we met. So tell me how we met.
It was lovely. Whitney sent me a Facebook message soon after she moved here from Rochester. So she grew up in Des Moines, moved to New York, and moved back. And I had been in Des Moines for about 4 years at that point. And I was lucky enough to be on the list of people's recommendations of who she should meet. So we went to Palmer's and we grabbed lunch. Hi, Megan. Good to see you.
Hi.
And shared salads and thought that we were going to be friends.
Yes.
And so
I was pretty certain, actually.
I was smitten from first friend date. So we hung out ever since then and became friends both inside of the professional space and as just like going out and exploring new places in Des Moines. And Whitney is just one of those kind souls that you just like always want to be around. And
I don't know if that's true,
it's
but
true. It's true. So I'm very lucky to call her a friend.
Yes. So one of the things I did when I moved back to Des Moines, because I didn't know anybody, was every meeting I had, I asked people if they would recommend a few additional people that I could reach out to. So I was
Great networking tip right there.
I was that creepy girl that was like sending Facebook messages like, hey guys, you don't know me, but I'm new here and can we go for coffee? And so Karla was one of those very kind people that said yes
I
to
was
me.
like, I love playing tour guide. When can we start?
Exactly. And so that actually ended up being a theme in your professional headshot session, Tour Guide to Des Moines. So Karla wears many hats, as most of you probably know. Can you talk about your hats?
On my day job, I am a food editor at betterhomesandgardens.com, BHG.com. So a lot of those hands-only food videos. And then in the evenings and on weekends, I do some extra cooking classes, wine classes, freelance writing. I don't like to be bored.
Yeah, I don't think this woman is ever bored. So she approached me after several friend dates and was like, hey, I want you to take my professional headshots, but I want something a little bit more extensive than what you are normally offering. I want like to do a few different outfits. I want to go outside. I really want something super creative, and I definitely don't need like the standard like that one. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So Karla was really the person that like designed the creative portrait session, which is my extended headshot session that's very personalized to the client. She was the first person that was like, I need this. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, we'll figure that out. Like, we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
And what I loved was you brought like super fun dresses. We went out, it was January, wasn't it? Or February?
It was last January, and I was redoing my website. So I wanted a little bit of variety. And so we shot inside, we shot outside. So we got some skyline photos, some stuff at Waterworks Park, and I wore kind of more creative dresses and stuff like that that kind of showed off my personality. And I wore my sparkle pants because that's a little bit of a trademark for me.
Always a sparkle pants.
And so it was really nice to have some options that were different. And I still have people to this day that stop me in the hallway at work and say, oh my God, who did those photos? Like, they look so great. And I just wish that I could just like walk around with a Whitney photo, like right,
like here's the professional one. So then you came back to me this year. Wait, what, December? When was this conversation started?
It was like right around Thanksgiving time or a little bit before. Yeah.
And she was like, so I pitched a story to shape.com that I want to do a boudoir shoot, and I was like, okay. Like, let's do that. And so that's not something that I traditionally offer at the studio, first of all, because I don't have a bed. And so when you think about boudoir, you really think about like having a bed and having sheets and like getting cozy. And I was like, can we do boudoir like my way?
Ish.
Like can we do it more with like an empowerment bent, or like, you know, using what I have at my disposal? Does that sound good to you? So tell me what you were thinking about when you thought about boudoir and like coming in here to do that.
Yeah, so this obviously wasn't our first rodeo, but I was
rodeo.
explaining it to Whitney like it was kind of comparing walking into an interview versus walking into a date. So it's still you, like you're the same person in both situations, but you might come into it with a little bit of a different mindset.
Yeah.
So I didn't really change too much about like what I wore. I was still pretty covered up in the boudoir photos, but I was just kind of thinking a little bit different about like how I carried myself and what I wanted to accentuate and stuff like that, because like my professional headshots were more about my face and my personality, and my boudoir photos were more about just like the posing and the lighting and stuff like that. It was more about like the whole shape.
Yeah. The whole body. Like I photographed more of her whole body than I would in a typical headshot session, because like for headshots you don't necessarily need like the booty. So
I mean,
but, you know, you need a little bit of the booty for boudoir shots. So what we really talked a lot about when designing the feel of the shoot and deciding like what it was gonna be like was that I wanted it to be her most empowering self. And so I think that's very different for everybody. Some people feel super confident when they're like in their bikini running around, or like dudes if you're a Speedo guy or whatever. Like some people that's their jam, and like that's cool. But I think that feeling sexy is really about like, what do you feel the best in? Like, do you have a rockin' dress that you're like, I don't really wear this out in public, but I definitely wear it around my apartment a lot. Like any of that stuff should be what you wear in any sort of boudoir.
And I even just brought in like one of my favorite scarves and wore that with like a pair of jeans and a big necklace.
Yep.
And
because I think it's more about the tease than the actual reveal. Like you don't. I guess I just don't feel like you have to show a whole lot to be sexy. And I find, I mean, I'm not somebody who like walks around showing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
And you aren't either.
No, and I've been very much a prude for a large portion of my life, and at war with my body, really. So it's not something that I've always felt comfortable with showing off.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of like a good happy medium of like being a little bit more, being accepting of who I am and saying yes to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But not having to be like super scandalous about it.
Yeah. Well, and we did do, I mean, don't get us wrong, like you did a bra and panty set, but like the way that I photograph it is pretty, you'll see on the blog. So go ahead and look.
And like I said in the piece, like it's nothing that I wouldn't show my dad. So Dad will probably see it anyway.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
And it's totally like, it's nothing less than like a swimsuit, you know? So.
But I think it's really about the mindset. Because when you come in for a professional headshot, like you're really there, like it's your interview foot, right?
Right.
And then when you came in for this shoot, it was like, so, a little flirty. We're a little flirty. We got to be flirty. And I think it's like and you weren't doing this for anybody. Like you were doing it for a story.
Yeah.
But really it was like for me, specifically for you.
And like I said in the piece, it was for me now, and it's also for me in 50 years, so that I can look back on this and be like, hey, that was the point in my life when I finally came to terms with who I was.
Yep.
And I was cool with that, and that's awesome.
I was cool with that. You looked pretty cool with that. So cool. Ooh, we've got some photo proof of this. So this is Hot Karla right here. So this outfit, I think, was both of our favorite outfits. So this was a custom designed suit that she had done for her. So like a very traditionally masculine piece, like built specifically for a woman's body. And then underneath it, she wears this like phenomenal corset. So you can see the little corset or the little cutouts there, and then jeans and heels. And like there's, you're not showing off a ton here.
No.
But it's all about the attitude.
Yeah, I've worn that to dinner, like out on the town.
I'd wear that to dinner all the time. Like I'd live in, I sort of want, so now I have to get a custom suit, like Karla has started that. And I will be getting one.
Highly recommend.
Yes, and then I want a corset to wear underneath, because like, damn. And then I need somebody to photograph me, so can we
start teaching me?
I know, I need somebody to do that. But I think that was like the perfect embodiment of like what I I think what we were both hoping the Boudoir shoot would be like. That like, yes, like boudoir was the starting word, but I think the finishing word was like empowerment.
Absolutely.
And actually that's like when we did this shoot, I hadn't like started the empowerment campaign yet. And I was talking with her and I was like, what do you think about this word? Because that's really how I felt the motion of the shoot went.
And I love that so much because this is all kind of under the umbrella on Shape's website of their hashtag Love My Shape campaign, which is all about like loving your body and the empowerment and feeling strong and not feeling like you always need to like starve yourself down to being skinny and stuff like that. And so this just all weaves together so nicely.
And something I've been thinking about a lot is because we see all these things in the media about like loving your shape or whatever, and how do I say this? Some people like try to like push their body away from themselves, right? Like my body is not important or it doesn't have anything to say about me. And I guess I'm a firm believer that that's not true. Like the body that we live in is so important. Like it's what carries our brain. And I think like feeling comfortable and confident in the bodies that we live in is so important. And so anything, and I think so many of us walk around and we're just not comfortable. Like, and I see that all the time because so many of my clients come to me and say, I don't like being photographed. And usually it has something to do with like not necessarily liking a particular part of themselves. So I think just because so many people have reacted so strongly to having good photos of themselves, I'm fairly confident / positive that being able to see images that you love of yourself that truly embody the body you are in and can be proud of, like that's huge. So
it's so huge. Like anybody who knows me from my New York days or pre-New York days knows that like I was a cardigan and boot cut, khaki, kind of like slouchy clothes, didn't really carry myself in a very confident way and was shyer. Once I got to the point where I like finally accepted who I was and started wearing clothes that made me feel good, my personality came out in a different way. And that's not to say that you can't feel that way in any kind of clothes, in your PJs, in anything, but it's just like finding what works for you and what makes you feel good, and the point where your body is feeling like your best, then it just like everything else kind of clicks and you start being able to reach your goals better and feel more confident in many realms of your life. It's just it's like if you have a toothache, you know, like that impacts like all areas of your life.
It all the time.
You can't fix it until it's like remedied, you know. And so it's the same idea of your body. It's like once it's like in order, then you can like focus on higher level things.
Or once it's accepted.
Yes.
Like once the like
Exactly.
whatever order your body is,
exactly.
Like you take that time to actually be like, okay, I'm on board with this.
Yes.
But I think sometimes it takes other people. Like we still need somebody else to show us the good stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's so hard to see our own good stuff. Like it's like almost impossible sometimes. I have some days where I'm like, where's the good stuff?
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
So hard.
But when
and
you
it's
have
easy to
that,
nitpick
it totally is.
And that's like what we're all taught. You know, that like we can't be okay with ourselves. Like if your friend is talking down about herself, then like the natural thing for you to do is like, oh God, I hate my nose.
You know that Mean Girls thing where she's like, in Mean Girls, where they're like, I have really large pores, and then like Lindsay Lohan is like, I have really bad breath, and like 'cause she didn't get it, she didn't know that's how people are supposed to talk. And I'm like, well, I have really bad breath too. I don't know, but I think like the end product of like feeling. I mean, let's just look at this glorious thing. The end product of like owning it to the point that it's like on your wall. Like, not only is it awesome, but it's like something you show off. Like, you are something you show off. And I like that.
Yes. And Whitney, at the end of your photo session, brings you in here after she has looked through all the photos and compiled them. And you have to sit down and select your favorites. But the way that you do that is you do it with her, so you're not alone when you're doing it. And you say yes. You have to say yes to yourself. And all of the images that you like. And anything that you don't want to see again or that doesn't make you feel like $1 million, you just say no and it's done. But everything else you say yes to, and there's something really powerful about that process. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yay. Well, thank you for saying yes
Thank
to
you.
this whole experience.
Oh,
Yay.
I love
and
you.
I'm so glad third time's the charm with this particular Facebook Live. So thank you
Yes.
all for sticking with us. And I will see you next week, hopefully live on my own Facebook
On Whitney,
page.
so go follow
Yay.
her.
Go follow me. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.